Tesla earnings were boring, but good, because sometimes boring is good. So pretty much there was no real news out of the earnings report. I mean, pretty much all the pundits were right in the ballpark. The average from the street, their average estimates were pretty much in line. There were things that were a little higher. There were things that were a little lower, but all in all, it came in right about where you'd expect. I think what's really interesting about the earnings report is simply that Tesla seems to be getting more and more conservative about their projections. Now, we'll see what happens in the earnings call, because maybe they'll give us some more in the earnings call. But based on the information that they give us about their expectations for the rest of 2023 or 2024, going forward, they're not giving us much. For instance, they're saying they're only going to build 1.8 million cars. Now, come on. They built their current build rate. Their 440,000 is 1.76. So how do they only get to 1.8 this next year when they're ramping up Model Y in 2 factories and where they're ramping up in Fremont as well? Now they're saying, they specifically said that they're not going to see much increase in Shanghai, but the wording was a little weird. And that said, well, we're pretty much running at capacity there anyway, so we shouldn't expect too much increase there. I've seen at least one person suggest that that means that they'll be running about the same rate as they were in December and early January. But I don't think that's what that said. I think they have been able to run very close to 100,000 a month. So their capacity, their overall, they've shown us the ability to get to 1.1, 1.2 million. Whether or not that's what they hope to do, that certainly wasn't answered. But what was answered is more and more and more, it was all really conservative. They're sandbagging. Even on energy, it said, hey, we're in the middle of the ramp on our Lathrop plant, and we're doing well there. We're excited, but it doesn't say anything about what their expectations are, how fast that ramp is going to be. We've delivered our first semi-trucks, and we know about the news that came out yesterday about building a new facility so that they can have a full-on line, a mass production line, but no expectations in terms of numbers for this year. Even the Cybertruck, yes, we're going to start building them sometime this year. So pretty much down the line, there was no stretch. There was no stretch goals. Everything was pretty much like, yeah, we're going to do this, and we know we can make these numbers without even trying. So I've got questions for this afternoon's call. I know I'm not going to be the one asking the questions, but I could certainly hope for the same. Maybe these are your questions too. We want to know, how is 4680 ramp going? I have my own speculation on that they wouldn't be building a new facility, a new factory, if they thought that there was any issues with the 4680 line in Austin. Therefore, they're probably doing just fine on their ramp. But could you give us a few numbers? Could you give us some idea? Could you give us some direction? Maybe even a little bit of a stretch, something that would, create optimism. Again, I don't mind sandbagging, because then it just means you get a beat later. But it'd be nice to have some idea of what their real honest expectations are in terms of what they're going to hit. I'd like to know specifically with regard to Austin and Berlin, are they planning to get to 350,000 at each facility this year? Are they planning to have maybe even a 500,000 per factory run rate by the end of the year? They're still showing capacity at both locations at 250,000. Well, they're already making 3,000 a week. So they're making 3,000 a week. That's 150,000 right there. Are they only going to be able to get up to 250,000 by the end of the year? I don't think so, but maybe. But a little more information there would be helpful. Semi-truck, I have dialed back my expectations there. It sounds as if this is going to be their first line, and their only production line will be in the new facility that's going to be built in Reno. Therefore, I think we're looking at only 1,000, 1,500 this year, And probably next year, it'll be really hard for them to get to the 50,000, but maybe they know something I don't about that. But I'd like to know, how soon do they think this new facility will be up and running? They're not going to tell us, but it would be lovely to know. Energy, of course, is my big one. I hope that they'll give us something on energy. Let us know that, kind of where they are now. When do they think they're going to hit 40 gigawatts, gigawatt hours of capacity there? That would be fantastic. So those are my main questions. Obviously, I'd love to know something about Optimus. I doubt very much whether they're going to give us much on Optimus, but it would be lovely to know how far they've moved along in that as well. They did happen to mention that they are putting in superchargers like crazy. So there are now 4,600, I think, supercharger stations around the world. And they're putting them in really, really fast. So that was kind of interesting to see. Anyway, I'm going to listen to the entire earnings call. I'm going to take notes. And then after the earnings call is completely over, I'll do a video giving you my impressions of what happened in the earnings call. But this is, if you like this content, please like and do all the things you're supposed to do and join Patreon. And it's only $5 a month. And yeah, I'm bored to death by this earnings report, but that's not bad compared to some others. Nice talking to you.